This is Glenn Hughes, the voice of rock.
Hey everybody, this is Pat Torpy from Mr. Big.
And you're listening to Music Mania.
Good evening! Welcome to our show!
I want you to want me. The Dream Police. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. Your mama's alright, your daddy's alright, but just seem a little bit weak.
Scream for me, Brazil! Scream for me, Brazil!
So let's rock and roll all night, the body and dream day!
In the words of AC/DC, we roll tonight to the guitar bite. And for those about to rock, I salute you.
You are now listening to the Music Mania podcast, brought to you by CD Warehouse in Gladstone, the #1 hard rock podcast in the Midwest, featuring hard-hitting interviews with rock's living legends. And now, here's your host, Clint Schweitzer.
Just when you thought it was safe to visit your favorite podcast app, the Music Mania podcast is back, and we are doing better than ever. I'll tell you what, things are just looking up for us. It's been a tremendous fall and early winter season here. The sun's slowly beginning to fade on the year 2019 as we blast off into 2020. Things are just getting started here on the Music Mania podcast. Cannot thank you enough for joining the show, for downloading on podcast apps such as Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play Music, and certainly Apple Podcasts. We hope you'll hit that subscribe button and leave us some feedback. It definitely helps with everything we do, guys. The website is musicmaniapodcast.com. That's where all of our shows are archived. You can get, I think this is number 150. So thank you so much for staying true to us and continue to listen and leave feedback and interact about music. That's what we're all about here. And on this show, you know that the songs, you guys already know the songs. On this show, we tell you the stories, and that's what we're going to be doing here on this show. We have two returning guests, two that have been on before, including former Cinderella frontman Tom Keifer. His new album, Rise, has been out since September. We're going to be talking about what the reception has been like for that. I think Rise is a tremendous follow-up to his album, The Way Life Goes, that came out back in 2013. We've already seen videos such as The Death of Me, which is kind of the new single, and The Death of Me kind of going into the personal struggles that Tom's had over the years and how he's overcome 6 throat surgeries to continue to sing, to continue to perform at a high level. And the Tom Keifer Band's already rolling out some dates for 2020, and there's just going to be a lot more. That's what they've done, is tour relentlessly ever since this band got together ever since Tom released The Way Life Goes. It's been 6 years of nonstop touring and really building a brand. Obviously, Cinderella is such a huge, iconic name and a band that so many people revered, and they did great tours, from the 80s and on into the 90s and the 2000s. And now Tom's comfortable in his skin to be able to do things his way, to be able to go out as a Tom Keifer Band, recording new music, and Rise is just a tremendous bluesy follow-up to The Way Life Goes. We're going to be talking to him about the recording process and all that's gone into putting together this album and the relentless touring and things like that. Also going to be welcoming back to the show. Usually we have him on in December right before Christmas. It's usually a Merry Titchmas here on the Music Mania podcast, but we're going to be welcoming drummer Brian Tichy, who, I'll tell you what, modern rock has just been delivered a massive shot in the arm. We've seen the release debut single for the song Tear the Sky Wide Open by Silverthorne. His new project is Silverthorne. A lot of people talking about this. There's a lot of positivity. We've seen the video for Tear the Sky Wide Open. And, guys, this is just a great project, something Brian's been waiting on for a long time to do. He's got, with this ominous riff, huge chorus, driving bass, weighty drums, and groove that evokes the vast expanse of Southern California canyons from where the band was born. Tear the Sky Wide Open has already got fans salivating. The teaser video for the track received over 20,000 views in the first 24 hours. And, guys, Brian Tichy has played with everybody from Whitesnake, Ozzy, Slash, Billy Idol, and Foreigner. And now he's going to be joining us in our second segment talking about his new band, Silverthorne, and kind of why he waited so long to put together a project. He's always been in other bands, always, kind of been in other projects, working with other musicians. Now it's finally his vision, and we can't wait to catch back up with him and all that he's been working on for the past year. So before we get things started, before we get to our interview with Tom Keifer, Got to tell you about our sponsor, CD Warehouse in Gladstone, Missouri. Guys, for over 22 years, a staple of the Northland. They buy, sell, and trade CDs, DVDs, vinyl, and more. Do not let the vibe of the old school record store go by the wayside. Give them a visit off Antioch Road in the Northland today. Tell them Music Mania sent you and there will be a discount, or it's on us. Guys, do you remember the days when you were ready to go at the drop of a hat in the bedroom? Now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence in bed. Listen up. Blue Chew brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, so you know they work. You can take them anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach. And since they're chewable, they work up to twice as fast as a pill, so you can be ready to go whenever the opportunity strikes. Blue Chew has made all the difference in the bedroom for me personally, and if you could benefit from extra function and more confidence where it counts, Blue Chew is the fast and easy way to enhance your performance. Most guys talk a good game, but Blue Chew helps you follow through. Blue Chew is prescribed online and shipped straight to your door in a discreet package, so no in-person doctor's visit, no waiting in line at the pharmacy, and best of all, no more awkwardness. They're made in the USA, and since Blue Chew prepares and ships direct, they're cheaper than a pharmacy. Right now, we've got a special deal for our listeners. Visit BlueChew.com and get your first shipment free when you use our special promo code SATURDAY. You just pay $5 shipping. Again, that's BlueChew.com. Promo code Saturday to try it free. Thanks so much to Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast this week. And remember, Blue Chew is the better, cheaper, faster choice. How's everything been going, my friend?
It's been great, man. We've been having a blast out on the road and touring, and we just kind of wrapped up touring for the year. We did about 10 weeks of touring this year. Went out just before the release of the record, and just been a great year. Had a lot of fun making the record and put a bunch of the songs in the show and just got on the bus and played some rock and roll.
Which is what you've done relentlessly, Tom, for the last 6 years. I mean, talk about just kind of, and I know this new album, Rise, is a tremendous effort, and it's been so well received. The Way Life Goes was something that you were able to kind of tour on and do a lot of things with, including a deluxe release a few years later. Just how gratifying have these last 6 or 7 years been for you as you've embarked on this latest journey of your career?
It's been amazing. It's the Way Life Goes was created just kind of as a labor of love, and just Savannah and I writing and producing songs here in our studio, and we did it. Everyone told the story a million times. We did it over a long period of time, and didn't really have any really ambitions of it becoming a record, really. And one day we woke up and realized that there was a record, and the next thing we knew, we had a record deal. And the release of that record gave birth to the new band, and the last 6 or 7 years that you described, that we've been kind of on this new journey, and it's just been amazing, from the release of that record and starting touring with the new band. And we've all gelled like instantly, the first night, even in rehearsal, and it's been very inspiring and kind of the shot in the arm that I needed, I think, at that point in my life. And I think that's how everyone in the band felt too, when we kind of found each other, and this group of people came together, that we were all at a place in our lives where we needed something that was going to inspire us and kind of at a crossroads kind of vibe, and we all felt like this band was it, and we've become a pretty tight-knit family, on and off stage, so it's just been great experience, and it's all kind of led from one thing to another, and the latest thing is that after touring a lot together, we ended up in the studio last fall. Actually, just about a year ago, we started the record, and we created this album together, and that was a lot of fun to do with the band. All the time we spent on the road, it was pretty easy to capture what we were looking for, because we had a great chemistry from all the touring. I mean, literally off the tour bus straight to the studio. So.
That's tremendous, and congratulations on that. The album's called Rise, and it came out back in September. So it's had a couple months to kind of marinate, and you've been able to, like you said, played some shows this fall, and being able to unveil a lot of these songs live. Just in the last couple months, kind of what's the reception been like? The kind of the feedback that you've heard, because I think Rise is just maybe natural, perfect follow-up to The Way Life Goes, which I thought was a tremendous effort, and now Rise is sort of just kind of the next chapter for you guys, and deals with a lot of personal issues and things that you've gone through personally. Just kind of talk about this album and kind of what it's meant to you personally, and kind of what the reception's been like the last couple months.
Personally, I think all the song ideas came about during the last 6 or 7 years being out touring with this new band. So it's all new inspirations. None of it's left over from The Way Life Goes. They're all new song ideas. So that period of time being out on the road with the new band and kind of experiencing life in this new journey and with this new group of people, these songs a lot of song ideas kind of came out, but the ones that really struck us when it was time to actually record were these, the ones that ended up on the record. And it's just about life. The songs to me are about life and expressing human emotions that we all go through, either personally or you observe other people going through them. And that's always been my inspiration for writing. And, that's the record that came out. So it's been, so far the feedback's been really positive. People seem to really like the record. I think we went in with the goal of making something that was very raw, very live feeling, that had a lot of angst and energy to it, because, a lot of the subject matters of the songs required that, and we cut it very much live, and a lot of the songs are live right off from the tracking dates, from the drums up through my lead vocal. Some of them are. So we went for really raw live performances, and then tried to, keep as much of that as possible. And obviously, and you fix some things and overdub some things. But I would say on this record and working with this band, it's probably the least amount of overdubbing I've ever done on a record. So it came together pretty easy.
Well, let's talk about the video for The Death of Me. That's a video that's been, I think it's tremendous, and it really, a lot of emotion to it, and it's a great song. But just kind of talk about this song, because there's a lot, like we talked about, a lot of personal things in there, from you talking about the surgeries and some of the problems that you've had to kind of get you to this point. But it's something that I think anyone can relate to, and I think a song like this is important, and the video is great. Just kind of talk about The Death of Me and kind of how your own personal journey kind of leading to songs. And I think that's the purest form of expression and purest form of music. Why people love music is things like this, and it relates to you and pretty much anyone that's ever had to overcome adversity. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, well, I think it's an anthem for that,
Yeah.
and the lyric, Savannah, the theme to that song and most of the lyric was written by Savannah, and she handed it to me one day, and I read the lyric, and I love the metaphors in the verses for, the struggles, and, she's a very colorful, she writes kind of in pictures, and I related to it instantly, but not only did I relate to it, I thought, a lot of people will relate to this. So, we ended up finishing the song, because I really loved what she had, and I kind of gravitated to an electric guitar for that one. I felt like it needed to be heavy, and, that's how we write. We come up with the lyrics first, and then that kind of dictates the music. So, came up with that heavy, dark riff, and we finished the tune out, and, it's when you have a song that you can relate to, and you can not only see your own struggles in it, but you can see that there's a universal theme there that other people can relate to. That's something that can be inspiring. So when we went to do the video, we tried to, by way of example, really play out or act out that power of envisioning, destroying your adversity or your problems or your challenges. So that's how the whole idea of the concept in the beginning of the TV kind of talking to me and taunting me as I was walking towards it with my struggles from the past, and then just destroying them with the guitar right on the downbeat. I just felt like a very powerful way to open the video, and I think that we did that, like I said, by way of example, by putting my story on there, because the fans are, all that stuff's been pretty widely publicized, so they're familiar with that. And, if they see that you can overcome things, hopefully that's an inspiration to them. And what we would like really more than anything when people are watching that video is to imagine their own story on that screen or challenges. Because we all have them, and all of our stories are unique, and we all deal with our own struggles. And I think if you envision when you're watching that video your own on that screen and imagine smashing them, it felt pretty good to do that, I gotta say.
Yeah, it's cathartic.
It took a couple swings to break that TV. I don't know what that glass was made out of, but it was.
I was going to say that was.
I would definitely recommend that brand of television. I don't remember what kind it was.
I'll remember that. It's
aquarium glass, like aquarium glass on that thing.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if that was rigged up or if you really had to take that down. But man, it's a good way. That's awesome. Tom, one thing I didn't know about you, and this is just kind of off the cuff, aside from the album, is that you were recently on Loudwire's, My Favorite Riff, and I you're playing in your style of music from Cinderella on, everybody can hear the blues influence, and you're playing and you're singing, but what I didn't know is that you were so influenced by Michael Schenker, someone that's been on this show several times. I just saw Michael Schenker Fest touring not too long ago. Just kind of talk about that because I think you played Only You Can Rock Me on that episode of Loudwire. Talk about kind of Michael's influence. I know, UFO was so tremendous. He was so young when he was in UFO, and just kind of what a tremendous player he is, and just kind of talk about his influence on your own playing.
Well, I love the fact that he could be really melodic, but really nasty, and incorporate that blues thing kind of all into one. So some players are very technical, and some are very nasty, and he kind of puts it together.
Yeah.
Where there's that technical and like these like really memorable melodies, but there's also just that nasty kind of blues rock edge to it. And just his playing and his tone and his style and everything, from day one, from the first time I heard him, was just huge influence on me. And he's just got a great energy in his playing. It's like nobody else.
Absolutely. We talked about the live dates. You have some coming up already scheduled for 2020, coming up here in February. But if you could give a little teaser for the fans, I mean, what with a record like this coming out and being as well received as it is, and knowing that the Tom Keifer Band has been relentlessly on the road and playing so many shows, including one, by the way, a year and a half ago in Branson that I saw you, that was the hottest day I've ever seen, and you might remember this. It was summer ago, but it was 105 degrees or something like that. It was insane. But your performance is always just over the top and so thoughtful, just soulful and amazing. But what kind of dates, what kind of shows do you anticipate coming up here for maybe spring, summer 2020?
Yeah, we're looking to be back out next year. We're starting to book some shows now. We're looking at some stuff potentially overseas and stuff in the States too. We're just taking a breather because, like I said, we toured for like 6 years straight once the Way Life Goes was released, and we did that partly as the cycle to promote that record. But then a lot of those years were just kind of promoting the new band and kind of building from very small clubs up to big festivals and all, because it was a new entity. It was a new band, and we were kind of out there growing on the tour trail. And then we went straight from that into the studio for 6 months, made the record, and came straight out of making the record into kind of delivering it and setting up the press and the tour and right back out on the road. So we're kind of off the road for the next couple of months just for a breather, and then we'll still be doing press and promotion, and we've got a single that we're working at radio right now that's amazing. And we're lining up more dates to get back out there next year behind the record.
Well, when it comes to recording, I know that so much has changed, from when you did, say, Night Songs or Long Cold Winter, or Heartbreak Station. Just talk about that, because you guys, have you've done 2 records now in the last 6 years after kind of a long break from recording music. Just kind of talk about what that process in general has been like. Obviously, Rise is available on CD, it's on vinyl, and of course on all the digital outlets as well. But just kind of talk about that process and maybe kind of how it's changed in the last 33 years. I know that's a general thing to talk about because it's so much has changed, but just just for you, what it's been like from, say, Night Songs till now. I mean, it's been a long time, but obviously a lot of changes in the recording industry.
Well, to quote a song, the more things change, the more they stay the same. It's kind of, I mean, the recording process, so much of it, you know, from my perspective as an artist, you know, you're a songwriter bringing a song in with the band, and you arrange it and you record it, and you're trying to capture that energy that you're hearing in your head. I mean, that you approach that all the same. You just have different tools, you know. When we were making Night Songs, which is the first, you know, recording we did with Andy Johns, you know, we were recording the 2-inch tape, you know, 24 track, and if you needed more tracks than that, they had to bring in a second machine, and you had to lock them together with a time code. And I remember on Long Cold Winter being 3 24-track 2-inch tape Studers across the pack, time coded together, because it was like Coming Home had like 70 tracks. You know, now all that fits on a laptop, you know. So, you know, it's different technology that captures it, and obviously, I always say, for all the tricks that you can do in Pro Tools, back in the 60s and the 70s when we just had analog, in the 80s, you know, when I first started recording, every producer and engineer had a way to do everything that we do in Pro Tools now that we can do just with like a mouse click.
Yeah.
They had ways of figuring it out. You know, they'd turn the tape upside down and put a delay on the snare and record it backwards and turn it back upside down. Okay, now we've got the snare drums driving a little more because it's a little in front of the beat. You know, you do that in 3 seconds in Pro Tools. But, you know, so the goal, the end result is just you getting the feel and the energy that you want. We're just working with different tools. And there was every bit as much manipulation back when it was more simple or primitive, I guess. You know, I mean, I've watched Andy Johns in amazement at some of the things that he did. I was like, well, I didn't know he could do that. but a lot of the same things we're able to do now took longer then, you know. But, you know, the human mind is a very creative thing, so there wasn't anything, you know, I mean, they knew how to tune a vocal back then if they had to, or to, you know, move instruments around to give them different feels, you know. It's kind of all the same things that producers and engineers do, just different tools, you know. And the end result is that the thing that remains the same is you're really just trying to capture the energy that you hear in your head when you wrote the song.
Certainly.
So it's just, you know, and Pro Tools is great because, you know, the new technologies, there's great advantages to it if you use it correctly. I would say this record is the least amount of manipulation or overdubbing or anything, as I mentioned earlier, of any record I've ever done, because we toured for so long and got straight off the bus and locked out a very small tracking room. We were all in the same room, and the goal was to just, you know, here's these new songs, let's arrange them and just jam these things out the way we play live.
Well,
and you know, we you know, maintained, or we preserved, you know, most of those live performances. We were just kind of like looking at each other. Well, was that it? Now let's do it again. Was that, nah, it wasn't quite, let's do it again. Oh man, the energy, that was great. And boom, there's the take. So, you know, I've made records where it's, you know, literally like the way that goes was done completely different. It was a lot of overdubs, musicians not even in the same room at the same time, and that's nothing wrong with that either. You know, I mean, a lot of records are made that way. This one was more straight ahead because the band had that, you know, the band was so greased and had such a great chemistry from all the touring we did. So
absolutely, and everything's just you know, gone so tremendously. And congratulations on the new album Rise. It's unbelievable, and it's always great to hear from you, Tom, and always a pleasure. You can go to tomkeifer.com. You can get all the information on the tour dates coming up and every way to get the album, which, like I said, CD and vinyl and all the digital outlets. Best of luck coming up here, Tom. Hopefully we'll catch you out here on the road sometime in 2020. It's never a summer without you, so hopefully we can make that happen, and just best of luck with everything, and congratulations on the new album. It's really tremendous.
Well, thanks so much, and thanks for having me on. Pleasure speaking with you.
Always, Tom. Thanks so much. It's an honor. So for the third time, that is Tom Keifer joining us on the Music Mania podcast. It's always a pleasure. One of my favorite artists. Always been such a huge Cinderella fan, and now being able to see Tom live himself twice since he began kind of touring as the Tom Keifer Band. It's tremendous to have him back on for the third time, and really to think back to when this podcast started back around 2012. It started very slowly, just doing interviews whenever I could. And of course, now it's weekly and multiple guests and things like that, and having guests back on for multiple visits is incredible, and I never would have thought it to be possible back when I first started this to have had Tom Keifer on now for a third time, let alone ever doing it once. So please go to tomkeifer.com. You can get all the information on the new album Rise. You can order it there on CD or vinyl, and of course all the digital sites as well. And you can check out the tour dates. He has a few dates starting February 18th at Bogarts in Cincinnati, and he's going to be doing a lot more coming up too. So be on the lookout for that. Without further ado, I want to go ahead and welcome our second guest to the show. I was actually recorded this. I was en route to Georgia this past weekend to cover the Mizzou-Georgia football game. Of course, I do a college football show as well, and I'm heavily involved in the sports media side of things as well. So I had to do that in the car, and I thought maybe that my mobile recording studio was going to be a little better than it was. So the quality is not 100% outstanding, and I think Brian had some trouble hearing me off the bat, and I apologize for that because that's never what we want to do. I want to get in as much interviews as possible. We try to always do it in a nice, clean, noise-free room if possible in our studio. But when I'm out and about traveling a lot, which I am, I'll also like to be able to record the interviews. In this case, it was a little tough as I was in the car writing. I was not driving doing the interview, but I was writing, and you get a little bit of background noise, so apologies for that. But it's just from the other day that we taped this, I believe last Thursday. So enjoy this interview that we just did with Brian Tichy joining us for the third time. And I tell you what, it's great to have you back on, and it's been a while. Usually, this is usually an annual thing around the holidays. We've had 2 straight Merry Titchmasses, and now we're doing a little early. We're going in November. It's all good. How's everything been going in your world, my man?
Everything's cool. Yeah, everything's totally cool. I got my arms and legs about me, and I'm healthy. That's all good.
Absolutely, and I tell you what, it's been quite a journey for you, because when we've talked before, you've always talked about kind of waiting for the right project to come along or something that you could really delve into, Brian, and it seems like that you have certainly done that here with Silverthorn. We've all seen the video for Tear the Sky Wide Open. The single is out. Just kind of take us through this whole thing, how this kind of all came about, and what the reception's kind of been like on this new single and video. Let's talk about it. I mean, the single, just checked out the video for Tear the Sky Wide Open. Kind of talk about this, how this came to be, kind of what the reception's been like, because the video is awesome. It's just something that, I think that a lot of people have been waiting to see you delve into a project and kind of be a part of something. This is kind of just what they've been waiting for, Brian, and this is great to see. Just kind of take us through this journey and kind of how this whole project came to be.
Well, thanks. Cool. Yeah, it's an original band. It's a brand new baby band. With starting our uphill battle in the music business, and seeing if we can make a dent and get some traction and sustain. That's the main thing. Can we keep this thing rolling? But it started. It's an interesting story, and there's no real easy way of consolidating the story to a couple sentences, but. Silverthorn features, I'm on drums, and the singer-guitar player is Pete Shoulder, bass player is Daniel Spree. You go back to 2011 when I was in Whitesnake, Pete Shoulder was opening up with his band, The Union, in the UK for Whitesnake. So we had met, and I had heard him, and I was like, this guy's a badass singer. I just walk in the venue, and they'd open it up first, and I just make note of, God, this guy's voice is killer. I don't know who he is, but he's great. And then that was it. We went our ways after the tour was done. And fast forward to like 2016, and I had a project going. I say project because it definitely wasn't a band, because it was just myself and the DeLeo brothers from Stone Temple Pilots. We had recorded some songs together with no vocals. At the time, STB did not have a vocalist either, so they weren't sure if they were ever going to find the guy, the right guy for STB. So we had a thing going. We also needed a singer. Somebody who knows somebody happens, and Pete Shoulder comes into our world, and these guys hear him, the DeLeo brothers hear him, go, this guy's killer. Brian, check this guy out. I'm like, cool. So we got our band going with Pete. We basically wrote and recorded a whole record, and really excited about, okay, this is what we're doing. soon after, I don't know, like 6 months later or whatever, we're doing our thing, and the DeLeo brothers found their new STP singer, somebody they felt could fit the mold and do it justice and all that. They had to make a decision on which road to go down, ultimately deciding, to continue on with STP, putting our project on the back burner indefinitely, and we totally understood because they're killer. STP is a great band. I'm a total fan of theirs. The DeLeos are killer musicians, and I have so much respect for anybody that starts their own band like we're doing now with Silverthorne and actually gets it to a place where they're releasing records, touring, platinum records, big singles, and their whole life is about their band and their music, and their dreams are coming true. Like this, you don't put time into this stuff just to have as a cute little thing that you might do on in between your day job. I mean, you start a band and you have and you go for it. You want to see it go as big as it can. So when they went back to SDP, I totally get it. And I wish I was in that position where I had my band for the past 30 years and lost their singer, get a new one, and you can move, carry on. So they did that, and a couple months later, I was like, hey Pete, let's make lemonade with lemon, and why don't you come back out and let's write and record on our own, because in working with Pete Shoulder, I realized not only is he a great singer, he's a great guitar player, he's a great lyricist.
Disabled vehicle
ahead. We're cut from the same cloth, and it just seemed like, man, if we get together, we might be able to do some damage. So he came out, and we just wrote, recorded, blah blah blah, for like a month, got a ton of stuff together, and that was last year. We had some management issues, we got some guys involved, it didn't work out, it ate up a bunch of time, and then this year we signed to Golden Robot Records, and got everything together in the spring. So, but by the middle of August, the first single came out. I was in Japan all summer, so we got the single out middle of August, and the band's rolling now. Now we're actually we're a legit band. We got a song. So let's go. We got a video.
Well, the song's tremendous. It's Tear the Sky Wide Open, and I tell you what, this is just kind of a taste for what's maybe to come for you guys, as apparently an EP is in the works. Kind of give us a little update on that, and maybe when fans can expect to hear more of this, because it's this is merely just a teaser, Brian. We want to hear more of this kind of thing. This is such a great song and video, and fans are already clamoring for more here.
Well, thanks a lot, man. It's all scheduled out now. The next single number 2 is a song called Black River Rising, and it's a whole different thing than the first single, completely different vibe. I can't wait for people to hear it, because we really made it a thing. We want to sound raw. We don't want to sound overproduced. We want to sound like the real instruments that we're playing are coming through in the mix. No studio trickery, no auto-tune, no cut and paste in, no samples or blah blah blah. So this next song even sounds more like that. It's definitely a throwback to. It's a throwback to like Trower and Free and Sabbath. It's like in that world. But man, I can't wait for you to hear Pete's vocal on it. So that video is done. We're like tweaking the final edits literally right now on our huge budget, which is basically Pete on his old iPad sitting there with me next to him, and we're doing it on some movie editor thing. But man, you can get so much done on your own. Like seriously, that first video we did, Tear the Sky Wide Open, I think it came out cool because our video editor, Brandon Keifer, he's a badass, so I give him the footage and he just goes to town with it. But we didn't. We did it for. I don't even know how much cheaper you could do a video for. We literally got 3 iPhones and an iPad and stuck them on stands and rented borrowed somebody's PA thing, and brought it up in a canyon, threw a drum set up there, and stood in front of the iPhone, just jammed out, and we captured it. And that's it. You know what I mean?
Well, so, that's awesome. That's really important in this day and age. The videos are so important, and to be able to do it on a budget and to be able to get it up there. It had 25,000 views before when I first saw it. Right, it had just been out a few days, so it's climbing. It's obviously something that's important. Fans have been kind of clamoring for you, and obviously the lifeblood of any band is live performances. You guys have a show coming up in Vegas, I believe, on November 22nd with some other bands, Two Man Riot, Cold Stairs. Talk about what fans can expect maybe for some more live shows. What do you have coming up in 2020 as far as maybe getting this thing back out on the road?
Well, yeah, so, I didn't, I'm sorry, I forgot to kind of detail it out, but the second single is going to be out, the single and video, We'll be out November 25th, so it's right around the corner. And then you're getting too close to the holidays to really do much else. So then the EP, the 5-song EP, will come out beginning of February. And yeah, and in that time, we'll just probably get another video together for another song when the EP comes out. But we have shows coming up this month at Vamped in Vegas on Friday, November 22nd, and then we come back to LA and play Sunday, November 24th at the Piper Room. And we just, this is like, we need to, we're getting started, just doing our little thing, and this is the beginning, like I said, of you're at the bottom of the hill. You got to start making your way up, but we need to get our feet wet, get out there and start playing. We're talking with some agents right now about hooking us up on stuff for all next year, and that's what it's about right now. You just have all your information, you have all your goals. This is what has to get done. These are the things we need to move forward, and you start trying to knock them out. Just whether it's getting your music and your band and to managers and agents and just other bands that we know, and because next year's coming up, and this is the time to set everything up. So we're hoping with that second single, setting up the EP and getting out there playing some shows. That you just got to start doing it, man. There's really no way around. There's no book you can read. There's no formula. It's really just work. The constant hard work and promotion. And the main thing is, do people like it? If people like it, we'll keep giving you more.
Well, from all you've done throughout your career, Brian, I mean, from Whitesnake to Ozzy to Slash to Billy Idol and Foreigner, this is maybe the most excited I've heard you sound about a project. I mean, you think back to those great things you've done, yet the personal satisfaction for this band, for Silverthorne, and this album and this EP coming up, how does it compare? Because this is kind of your thing. You've been kind of waiting to really bring a project like this out, and now you've done so many great things in your past, but now bringing this out and it kind of being your vision and everything like that. How does it compare to some of the wonderful things you've done with other artists in the past?
Well, I mean, it's our band, so they're our songs. Our choices were made to write songs that sound like this and produce them this way, and to deliver the whole thing in the whole image of it in how we want it. Whereas you join a band that's established, you fit in and do what you got to do to make the people that created that happy. Whoever your boss is, whether it's David Cullen, Riverdale, or Billy Idol, you got a job to do it. It's not about you. It's about you making that band sound as great as you can and doing what you're told. You know what I mean? It's be on time and kick ass on your instrument. We want to do the same thing here, obviously. But yeah, for me, I'm not taking anything away from anything I've done, because it's been really cool to have those experiences. But since I was a kid, I really just wanted my own band. And I'm not doing anything special here. There's tons of original bands out there. And, we just hope we have something that, sticks out a little bit, something that you can take notice to, and we can prove it live. And that's what I can't wait to do. But it is, I'm excited about it, because really, if it does take off in a way of taking off, meaning sustaining, is we can literally just sustain as an original band and build. That's where I want to be. That means all my time as a musician is dedicated to this. But I'm not saying anything crazy or special. I mean, this is what I watch my friends or in their bands, or my bosses in the bands I've been in. That's what they do. Their world is based around their music, their talent, their goals, their visions, what they saw they wanted to do, and they achieved it. Now that's what they focus on. I mean, and so it's not like I'm doing anything, like, wow, this is so impressive. It's just, man, we got a rock band, and we hope people dig it, and we'd love to make this our full-time gig. I mean, that would be amazing. That's one out of all these like really cool experiences I've had. It's usually on the side of being a drummer, hired into a well-known band, and it's led me down into many other experiences that have been really cool. But I do not have the experience of having an original band get to a point where there is a fan base and there is the sustainability happening. I haven't gotten there yet, and that's really what I wanted since I went and saw Kiss in Madison Square Garden in 1979. That's it. You go see Van Halen at freaking Meadowlands in Jersey on Diver Down tour, and whatever. Not even just seeing them, but yeah, seeing them that trips you out for your life. Like that, as everybody knows, if this is your career, if you're a musician and you talk about the first bands you saw that made you become a professional musician and start your own band or be a hired gun, whatever thing like myself, it all goes back to I was into Kiss, I was into Zeppelin, I was into blah blah blah, and then I went and saw them live, and that changed my life. And that's it. So when I saw Kiss, Van Halen, Rush, the Maiden, whatever, Ozzy, Metallica, like all that stuff in high school, it's like I got to do this. I have to do this. Whatever this is, I don't know how the hell I'm going to get there, but I have to. And it's like I said, it's not like this. It's not such a big deal because you're talking to me about something I haven't done, but you're going to interview other guys that literally that's what they did.
Right.
And I have so much respect for anybody that's done that. I mean, maybe there's guys in their own bands, and they started their bands and they got successful, and that's their life's work, and that's what they're doing. Maybe they look at like, oh shit, I wouldn't know what it's like to be hired into a White Snake or a Foreigner or something. That's a whole different world. But I mean, anybody can do it. If you're a drummer and you grew up playing to those bands, you just go, do your thing in that band, just try and make it sound good. But that's the side I know, and I have to, like I said, I'm like, I'm envious of all those guys. My buddies, or just anybody that started a band, and that's their job, man. Like, we got a tour this year, we got to write a new record. It's like, man, that's fun. That is like, there's nothing more fun than that. I don't care about all the business stuff. We all have to deal with business stuff and stuff we don't want to deal with. Financial, blah blah blah, all the junk behind the scenes. But if you're going to give me that behind the scenes of being in my own band, I'll take it. Give me anything that you say is a problem in your world of having a successful original band. Yeah, I mean, come on, man. Yeah, that's what you have. Oh, I don't know how I'm going to invest my money properly, and I got to protect my money. We've made so much money, I don't know what to do with it. I got to, we have to, come on, man. Everybody wants a piece of my money. I got to pay all these people because they were so successful. You got to hire some more, more people and deal with more pressure. We have to write another record that has the success of our previous record. It's like, yeah, but is that a problem? That's fun. Go for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's amazing. That's why I'm so happy for you, Silverthorne. I'm telling you what, it is something that, like I said, fans of yours and fans that have followed you and various projects have kind of been waiting for this, and this is just great to see kind of the beginnings of it and just a little taste that we've been given so far. So you can follow the band at Silverthorne on Facebook and Twitter. Brian, as always, man, thank you so much for catching up with us. We wish you the best of luck, and hopefully when we get some more tour dates announced, we will be able to come out and see you here maybe this spring or summer, my man.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope we're out playing, and I don't care if it's somebody's backyard barbecue or a stadium. We want to get that opportunity to get out and prove ourselves.
Awesome. Can't wait to do it. Hopefully it all works out, and we will definitely see you soon. Catch up soon, my man. Best of luck.
All right, thanks a lot, man. Good talking to you.
You bet. Thanks, Brian. Big thanks to Brian for putting up with the hellish conditions of recording a podcast interview on the road while riding in a car. I do not recommend it to anyone. We got through it. We got it done. And Brian's a great dude, and he was able to just power through it. And thanks to him. And definitely check out the band. It is Silverthorne, and you guys check them out because we've been waiting for so long to hear a project like this. From Brian, and you can go check out the video and the single. It's Tear the Sky Wide Open, and there's just so many things coming up. We got a full album coming out, and more shows hopefully from Silverthorne. Cannot thank Brian enough for joining us, guys. It's been a pleasure. Go to our website, musicmaniapodcast.com. You can get all the update information and news, anything going on, shows that I've gone to. I'm reviewing them there. All of our podcasts are archived there. Of course, gosh, just in the last few weeks, we've had guys on like Joe Elliott, Juan Crochier from Rat. It's been a great fall for us. As we head into the winter months, we can't thank you enough for joining us. Please hit that subscribe button on Google Play, on Stitcher, on Spotify, or on Apple Podcasts. Any way you choose to take in the show, we always appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Music Mania Podcast. Back next week once again.